We're live. One second. Let me press the live button on Instagram as well. The stream should be pushing there. Oh my goodness.
You're dark, Cameron. You look like you're in a very moody cave.
I am. I mean, it's a moody day for me. You know? Let's see if we put this light on me. Does that make it better?
I don't know.
Maybe I'll make one brighter up here. Let's see. Yeah, a little better.
Cool.
My office is a moody cave. All right, let me see if it's showing up here. It's not. Let me update our stream key real fast. And see if this does the trick for Instagram. All right. Rachel, how are things on the claim support front today?
Everything's so complicated, guys. It's so complicated. Nobody's got easy stuff. But there's lots of people that have new adjusters, and there is movement. And there's one particular carrier that is just the worst. Like the worst.
Is it rhyme with Blarmers?
Mm-hmm. Yep. So they're using it's not the old, they use multiple hygiene companies, right? They're not just giving all their business to one. Well, I don't know if you guys remember, but they were sending out this excerpt from a white paper at the beginning of the event. And the author was a person, I'm not sure whatever. It was by an author. Well, this author is the principal scientist at the other hygiene company that they're recommending. It's really great. Like, it's great. It's crazy. And they were sending out, they've got two contractors that they send out. One of them was tied up with tax related issues a few months ago. Like, they couldn't be legal contractor in the state of California at the time, even though they were out giving estimates and doing work. But that's a whole other story, I suppose. They had a client today had those guys, they used their hygiene company, their contractor, and had the adjuster said they wouldn't pay for testing, for post remediation testing. And they did it on their own. The levels are just incredibly high. It's like they didn't clean it all. And according to the user, they really didn't clean. Like, it was just two ladies. It was just cleaning.
Did you meet with the people that I asked you to meet with today? Did they already ask?
Not yet. I gotta figure out it's a technological problem. I don't know how to schedule a time for them without talking to them. So I'm just going to call her. I think that's going to be easier. Yeah, that's going to be easier.
All right. We are live there. Should be showing live. Let me do a little post on Instagram real fast. Show that we're live there.
I still lament we have to go update our 5 best insurance companies on YouTube. It's been a few years, and Farmers is on there.
Farmers is on the top 5.
Yeah, they're the third one we listed. It's not really cool of them to make us look bad.
Yeah.
It's really, really bad. Like, I'm every time I open one that's Farmers, it's like, oh no.
It's weird though. It's crazy. It's like how much it can shift, like from one year to the next, or one storm to the next, or
one event. Yeah, one event. Because look, I've got a individual home fire, like in, I don't know, Michigan or somewhere, like outside of the fires.
Yeah.
And they're doing so right by this lady. Like, it's almost easy. It's the event.
Yeah.
It's just the event. It's their golf buddies they met with, 10, 12 months ago, these agreements that they made. it's driven the entire process just to minimize everything. Like it's so bad.
Yeah, it's pretty rough.
Mm.
But that's not our topic today. Today, Rachel,
Oh.
today we want to talk about recoverable depreciation.
Oh, I love it. Love it. Everybody else should love it too.
What? So this could be a good debate. Aaron, I don't know what context you're saying you love it. If you love talking about it, Rachel, or if you love it as a mechanism. Aaron.
Oh, I despise recoverable
Aaron
depreciation.
despises recoverable depreciation, so I will be a moderator.
I find it to be like just so harmful. Most people don't recover all the depreciation that they're owed, especially in contents.
Yeah.
It pretends that there is a replacement cost coverage on your policy and then holds it back. And
not in Florida.
Fair enough. Can they do it on contents in Florida?
It's only on
Yeah,
contents
that's
in
what I
Florida.
meant. Yeah, so
Only.
yeah, they can still do contents, which is where it's the worst. So you can't do it on structure, which is nice. That's helpful. But structure is not.
No. I mean, Florida, they don't withhold depreciation on contents.
Well, that's lovely.
Yeah, that's the only state that I'm aware of.
Yeah,
That's true.
okay.
No depreciation.
That's really solid.
You get it.
Yeah. Good for Florida. I mean, sometimes the regulators get it right, but I hate it so much. I think it's just awful to the policyholders, and it's such a hassle to recover it. But where it becomes the worst, specifically in contents, right, is when you have to align the item purchased with the amount awarded, and. Yeah, so tell me why you love it, Rachel. That's what I want to hear. Like, what's the positive of recoverable?
Oh, I just like when people can recover it. I love getting receipts and writing checks. Like
it's like
my
having
deal.
things to do.
You know. Well, I mean, I don't love having things to do like that, and I don't love like matching things up, but I do love, guiding people to an organized way to present it, so it really expedites it for everybody. You know what I mean? Like there is no expediting saving your receipts.
So you
right?
love that, like you can, even though it's complicated, you can navigate it. That's what you.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I can make it.
How about we make it non-complicated? How about we just pay people with their own? How about that? Or if you're gonna hold money, how about this? What if you know what? If you want to make sure that there's no conflicting incentives, and you wanted to hold that money from the policyholder for whatever incentive reason that you have, you shouldn't be able to like use that money. Put it in an interest-bearing account that pays back to the policyholder. Like, don't just hold on to it.
One thing that is interesting to me, and I will admit, I did no historical research on depreciation in preparation for this phone call. Aaron and I decided 30 seconds beforehand, hey, let's talk about depreciation, because we were moderately talking about it before. So I won't say that we're experts on depreciation, but depreciation is involved in almost every single property claim, right? And even as an adjuster, I knew almost nothing about it because I was a field adjuster, right? So like, other than me putting in how old things were, and being like, they're going to take some money out because things are old, was about you can get it back if you actually fix things.
Oh, they have this whole spiel, right? Because like you had to sit there and give your estimate to the policyholder and then explain like, what's this stuff in the parentheses?
Why are you depreciating it that way? And I mean, it's one thing I really never got good training on. I didn't get training on most things, but definitely not on that to help. Because I remember the first time someone was like, well, it was like a rug. They're like, but doesn't this appreciate because it was a nice rug? I'm like, yeah. It's like, so do you like pay me more rather than less?
Market.
I want to get to the comments here. Sarah is asking for some specific help. She says, help me, Rachel.
Yeah.
Can you throw that one up on the screen,
yeah.
Oh, we covered
I
Rachel. We gotta
think
fix that.
if I'm talking, nobody needs to look at me. I think that she has insurance with who I used to work with. So I can speak to how I would keep up with it, but not a spreadsheet. I would just use the payment tracker worksheet they give you and then just draw a line through it when you're done. Like just make one kind of your whole, like your master copy.
Wait,
That's what I
sorry,
would
I'm
do.
not quite following. Get specific. How, like, what do you say?
So Sarah's looking for like a spreadsheet. I don't have a spreadsheet, but how I would track it would be like, the payment tracker worksheet they give you. Like once they've processed the inventory list, they put it in exact contents and they apply the dates, the depreciation and the quantities, and they price checked everything. And they have a master list now. And that initial actual cash value has been calculated based on all that. I would make that my master copy and send in PDFs of all the receipts as you repurchase items. Yeah, absolutely. But I would do, sorry, I'm answering her
that's good.
live.
That's good. Yeah, do it.
So real fast,
But,
let me back up real fast. Let me read the whole question so that it can stand here and we can come back to it. So Sarah says, do you have suggestions or even template spreadsheets for how to track the recovery of depreciation for contents? It is making my head spin to track the items which I've repurchased, et cetera, et cetera. Help me, Rachel. And she then says, then she should send in PDFs of all the receipts as you repurchase the items. So start back over. I have some thoughts about this, but I want to hear yours first, Rachel.
Yeah. And I have actually in the contents assistance, I actually pre-prepared some tracks, like explaining what happens next and how I would handle it too. So they're going to take your spreadsheet and they're going to put it in exact contents or some other software, but most likely it's exact contents. And they're going to price verify it. They're going to make sure the quantities work and apply the depreciation. And then they're going to calculate the actual cash value payment that first time, right? It's just going to be calculated right then. And it'll tell you in one of the columns to the right, and I can't remember how many columns over it is. I don't have a good one to look at, but they'll tell you how much depreciation you should expect to receive. But that is limited to how much you spend. So if you spend more for the same thing, you're going to get more money. So I wouldn't really track the depreciation. I would just track the item, right? The item which items have depreciation remaining. And that's maybe one reason why.
So they're presenting, because you said two things that kind of raise questions for me. They're presenting how much depreciation you should expect to receive as a separate figure from how much the item's been depreciated. Why? Why are those different?
Because you got the just like a structural estimate, you got a replacement cost value, you got an actual cash value, and they just show the depreciation they're withholding.
No, I understand that. Oh, so you're just saying separate it out, but it's still a flat amount. The amount that they've withheld is the amount you should expect to receive. And you can't receive more than that, can you?
Yes, you can if you have replacement cost.
A guaranteed replacement cost.
So that's for State Farm, it's just replacement. It is
guaranteed replacement cost is usually something else, Aaron. That has to do with repairs.
I know it does, but I didn't think that you could exceed the agreed upon amount on an item.
This is where Rachel's a real adjuster, and
that's why we're learning right here live on the air.
This is my point. I've known that. I've only ever seen an adjuster do it when we demanded it as a public adjuster. But the process of adjusting a claim, from my understanding of it when I was an independent adjuster, was I got an assignment. I called, I scheduled an inspection, I inspected the house, I wrote an estimate that I had to write that day, typically on site, and submitted, and I had to put in the age of certain items, which I knew that would depreciate certain things, and so they'd get some depreciation withheld. That was like the end of my relationship I know, so you did desk adjusting, Rachel, but that was the book closing on a claim. And I can say, as a public adjuster that's represented lots of people, as helping to lead Tugboat and assisting all the people there, that most adjusters, State Farm adjusters want to close a file every time they send an email, right? Like they try to, because the moment a file is closed, you don't have to send an update every 30 days, right? Like you worked there, right? Once a file is closed, you don't have to send an update every 30 days. So you want to close it. So the whole point is there's this mindset of like, and it's not just a mindset from the individual adjuster, like your supervisors want you to close claims because then they can assign more to you if there's not as many on your plate. And once that claim is closed, a receipt coming and you paying some depreciation quickly, like, first of all, I don't think it's easy for a State Farm adjuster to do it, because every time we've asked them to do it, or any adjuster, I don't want to single out State Farm for this, but once you start sending in PDFs of receipts and saying, hey, this is for this and this and this, it takes them a long time to go back through and figure out where it belongs. And then
it takes us a long time to see the money get.
It takes a long time to see money.
Whether or not it actually takes them a long time. Rachel's making a face. So
yeah, maybe it doesn't take.
Doing, Rachel?
But even so, even if it doesn't take a long time, it's a mindset of like, oh, I'm going to get back into an old claim that I thought was done and dive back into some minute details here about how much depreciation was withheld on a t-shirt. And
because there are arguments we'll have, like those are arguments that we will have. And so I guess where the friction, I think what kind of tripped me up there as we were getting into it was the difference between negotiating that this item was not fully paid for when it was settled previously, versus replacing it with a more expensive item and how that's treated.
It would be, what it would be is that the item was paid essentially improperly or went up in value at the time that you went back and purchased.
Sure. So we're talking like I had a Miele vacuum and now I bought a new Miele vacuum, and the Miele vacuum, I bought the same model and now it costs more than what was settled. Not I bought a $4,000 dining table and we could only verify that my previous dining table was worth $2,000.
Yeah. So this is functionally where I think it comes up. Rachel, you correct me if I'm wrong, but where I see Aaron, like what he's talking about is, Aaron, mute yourself for just a second.
Oh yeah, I got a party going on.
I think typically like in custom items or high-end items where there is a large increase in the costs of that thing being recreated. So especially if it's an older thing. So I've had clients where I'm trying to, like, I would think of it as a custom piece of furniture, and they have the invoice. Maybe they paid $5,000 to have this couch custom made and upholstered, and it was beautiful, but that was 15 years ago. Right. But they still have the invoice. I'm thinking of a specific scenario. They still have the invoice. And so we send that invoice in, and the carrier pays $5,000 minus depreciation. So they paid like $3,000, say, on that one. But in reality, that couch to remake it is $10,000. Right. Because we haven't gotten it repriced. And we have made those arguments before, like, hey, this would cost even more now. You know, we got, I've even had times where we said, hey, we got a new estimate from the builder who built this and says it's going to cost more. This happens on building structure things. It's going to cost this much to rebuild it now. Like, think like the builder that did my kitchen before is going to charge this much to redo it now. And I've had insurance companies say, no, like that's too high, but send us the receipt or paid invoice if it ends up costing that much, and we'll review it at that point. And they're essentially trying to play this game of, well, if you actually go and get that exact same thing done, then we'll consider it. Then we'll pay that increased amount. And where these nuances hurt people is because you shouldn't have to go buy that new couch. Like, the whole point is that you may not want the same couch, but you're entitled to the $10,000 minus depreciation. So you can go buy whatever you want to. Maybe it's another $10,000 couch. Maybe it's a $20,000, whatever it is. But it is incredibly important. This is one of the things that we haven't talked about it in a long time, but a lot of adjusters and even homeowners and contractors think that kicking the can is inconsequential when it comes to a claim. A lot of adjusters feel this way. So my supervisors felt this way. Like, we'll just deal with it in supplement. We'll just deal with it in a supplement. Don't worry about it. Don't sweat it. It'll come. We'll deal with it later. When you kick the can on valuation and not getting it appropriate on the front end, it will come back to bite you. Because one, your adjuster doesn't want to put in the work later. You don't want to put in the work later. And it becomes this.
There's a precedent now set. Like,
exactly.
You've got this anchor of what this thing's worth that you've like set an anchor that you're negotiating from. That only hurts you.
Yeah. And it's hard because you have to play out the whole scenario in your head. So go back to the couch one. It's like, wait, so if I just took the $5,000 check and I didn't really advocate that my couch is worth 10 new now, or would cost 10 to replace now, and I just go out and I pay the 10 or I pay 15. No, we're going to say this. I go and buy a verifiably nicer custom couch that costs me 15 and I send that to the adjuster. What's going to happen then? The adjuster's going to be like, this is a nicer couch. I don't care that it costs 15.
Yeah.
Like like your old couch, I have the invoice for it. It's right here. And then you're stuck arguing like, no. My old couch would be somewhere in the middle of these two prices. It would be at 10 today. And these hypothetical arguments are better done on the front end because they're hard to do no matter what. Like but if you try and do it on the back end, they become more difficult. And I know it might be hard to understand that.
Well, actually, Emily gave an awesome example in the comments. It's very similar to the one that you just gave.
What'd she say? She says, is that like marking an item as an upgrade, e.g. previously having a queen mattress, purchasing a king, and asking for replacement costs up to the current cost of the queen? Yes, it's exactly like that, Emily. Yeah, exactly. Because once you there's this mental thing that can happen. And again, I say this because I was an adjuster. It's like this I don't know, this thing that you can do to kind of turn off your adjusting brain a little bit is once you can believe that someone has gone and made upgrades to their house, you feel like they're just doing extra stuff now, right? We already gave them money. They're doing extra. I don't want to help them pay to do extra. That's not what I'm here to do. And I know that because I'm sure I felt that way before. We've explicitly had it said to us and our users when they're going to make upgrades and adjusters start arguing about like, well, we're just paying for your upgrades now. Like, and again, we've had it happen on one of the things. I mean, Rachel, you'll know this. You're giving people claim support. I can guarantee I know what your advice would be to someone to help them anchor this well for their adjuster would be to be very detailed. Hey, you're going to outline really detailed what it would cost to rebuild your exact same house. And we're going to help you know how to do that really well so that, again, you're not going to kick the can on what your old house would have cost to rebuild. We're going to figure that all out right now, right? And we're going to do it, even though you're not going to rebuild that house, right? We've even told people to go pull permits to get their code upgrade on their old, like get 2 sets of plans. Get a plan for your old house, get a plan for it's going to cost you some money, but it's going to be worth it. And you're going to, so you can get the code upgrade as it would have been on your old house. So your adjuster's not going to argue because now you're in a 2-story and you're in a single story and now you're doing a metal roof and you had a shingle. Like you have to go through this whole process to help them get to that finish line. So my point is I've done all of that as a public adjuster before and still had to fight tooth and nail to be like, hey, these are valid, right? This code upgrade, that whatever it might be. So all that to say, yes, Emily, thank you. Rachel has taught me well. She is your brightest student, that's for sure. But yeah, all that to say, it's I don't know, like we're weird and in the weeds right now. Aaron, how would you summarize what we're talking about to someone other than Emily, who's a straight A student when it comes to claims?
No, I think that it's all in the actual just talking through it. It's too nuanced, I think. But what you said already, just don't kick the can on these conversations and on these valuations. They matter, and it's a lot more difficult to negotiate up after you've let the insurance company or the adjuster or whomever is making that call anchor it lower than it needs to be. they're like, yeah, like you said, they think that you can kick the can and it's inconsequential. Like, don't make the same mistake.
Yeah. It's funny, that makes me think of something, because I had a depreciation conversation today. I didn't even relate it to this when we were talking about depreciation, but I just addressed this on a large loss today with a client that I'm actually the public adjuster for. And I think it's going to highlight something I haven't thought about really before, but when you're a large loss adjuster or you're dealing with large loss, issues that are inconsequential before suddenly become consequential, and they end up getting cared about way more, right? So my point is that when I've argued or tugboat users have argued with their adjusters about the depreciation on their socks and on their kids' toys, it can feel like noise, right, to an adjuster, and it gets received as noise, right? Those are the letters that you see people get back that's like they didn't even address it. They just said, see previous response, our position has unchanged.
Mm-hmm.
Like, this is nonsense. But it feels weird because you're arguing over $50 in depreciation or whatever it might be. On a large loss, though, so this is a multi-family property. The claim is approaching $1 million, large loss. And the HVAC, all of the units in the building are approved to be replaced. And the estimate for replacing all of the units in this building was with overhead and profit was like $212,000 for all the condenser units that were on the roof. Mm-hmm. So $212,000. They depreciated it down based on saying everything was at 50% depreciation, so half its lifespan, which I think they're rated for 20 years, 10 years.
10. I think 10, maybe, like 12, maybe. I'm trying to think of the last HVACI report I saw. I think they're.
Anyways, but they said they depreciated them at 50%, and so and depreciation is weird because depreciating something at 50% doesn't bring it from 200 to 100. It brought it from like 212 to 170. So all of a sudden now on this claim, right, depreciation on this one category is really significant, right? We're now $170,000 versus 212, right? And you may be like, and so someone listening to this might say, well, just have them go pay to have their HVAC replaced and it doesn't matter. And it's like, well, it does matter for several different reasons. One, that much money matters to have on hand, right? When you're getting bids, when repairs take a long time, you want it sitting in your account rather than the insurance company's account, the interest you can, all this, those things matter. But then beyond that, this is a property in a wildfire area. Maybe they want to sell it and they don't want to make these repairs and they want to sell it as is. Well, in that instance, then it really matters, right? Because whatever money they get after depreciation is all they're going to get. So anyways, on this one, I asked the owner, because this bid was received before I was involved, how old are the units that are on the roof actually? And he's like, oh, I'm not sure. I'm like, well, did anybody tell the person that created this bid for the insurance company how old they were? And they said no. And it was really unknown as to whether they're actually at half their lifespan or how old they might be. Now, maybe he was able to find it based on an install sticker that he saw there or something like that. But we all know, we were estimators. Like half the time, if not more, you're just guessing, right? You're just looking at it and being like, yeah, it looks like it's this old. I'm gonna throw a number on here and say. So it's my job now on this one thing to go and be like, hey, this matters. And I will tell you, the adjuster on this claim is a really good adjuster, really attentive. He's with that same insurance company that we've talked about has been doing horrible for these small smoke losses, but this is a large loss, right? Small issues are now compounded to be big issues, and large loss adjusters suddenly care about. Just imagine though, Rachel, you had to help a homeowner make an argument about the depreciation on their one HVAC unit that costs $5,000 to replace, and we're arguing about a few $100s. Like suddenly the adjuster doesn't care. So all that to say, it's been that's just an example of like this depreciation issue can be very big in a single instance, but really so much of what we're doing at Tugboat is trying to see all these small issues and how they're affecting the industry and homeowners in the aggregate. Because a few $100s is a big deal to most homeowners, even if they don't realize it right away because the money hasn't arrived yet or it's tied up in a repair. But it's a lot of money in the aggregate, right? I had a carrier that was out when I was an IA, that was out of compliance with California. That at the time, at least, California had a regulation that you couldn't depreciate items that had a lifespan that exceeded 100 years. So framing, hardwoods, things like that, you could not depreciate them. And our carrier just had in their guidelines, they didn't say ignore that. They said depreciate everything. And I remember asking like, hey, I've heard that in California we can't do this. They're like, no, just keep doing it. If someone asks us like to take it off on those items, we'll take it off. And they're like, it's not that much, right? You depreciate the framing and the hardwood floors or whatever it might be. These, it's going to be a couple $100.
And it's just I'm out of focus. That's weird.
Yeah.
It's just a parameter. Like, it's not even like more or less work for you to depreciate it.
No, it's just a number that I'm putting in there. But in the aggregate, for that insurance company that is a very large carrier in California where they're doing it, probably saved them hundreds of thousands of dollars, because we all know most people don't recover all their depreciation. And everyone knows that, right? Because you have to go in and actively do the work to do it. So all that to say, yeah, issues like this are big and small. And even when they're small, they're big in the aggregate.
Yeah. I want to go back to Sarah's question to you and kind of, so because she asked another question, and send in PDFs of all the receipts as you repurchase items. And I kind of want to speak to what you were saying too about opening the claim up to claim to get the.
Give them some insider scoop.
Yeah, for me, it was easy and I loved it because it's a one call closure, right? Because at State Farm, where I used to work, I would request the authority for the replacement costs. So I had the authority, the financial authority in the file ready to go. It like basically just kept in reserves, even though the claim was closed. We wouldn't give it back. We would let it sit there because they had this money coming to them until that 36 months. When it would those benefits would expire. So yes, Sarah, send in your receipts, and just I wouldn't do it one at a time, but I would do maybe once a week, just do all of them, and they're going to go in there. And I would also write the line item number on the receipt, and if you have multiple things on the receipt, like just put the number from the estimate on that receipt for that line item, and then send them in. Just do one, like I said, just do once a week, and then you'll get a check once a week. It's kind of like an annuity payment, I guess. It's coming to you. But I would love to get those. I had a little old lady and little old man in Kentucky after that big tornado last year, or whatever, 5 years ago.
Last year, 5
and
years.
sometimes the big one, the Maysville one. But they were the sweetest little people. I loved absolutely doing this. They did exactly what I asked. Once a week, they would send in 25 receipts. And then I would just go through and basically click the box, click the box, click the box, click the box, check the prices, and change them if I needed to.
You're the only adjuster in North America that likes doing that work, Rachel.
I love it.
But
that's why you work here now.
So Aaron had the idea earlier. Rachel, I think you're like this. I don't think you guys were talking about this earlier when I was distracted. Aaron, because we were talking about depreciation on a claim, and we were deep in the weeds talking about mortgages and how it affects those, all this different stuff. But we're in the process of building new tools for Tugboat users and for our members to be able to help them through their claims and other processes. We have talked about and not implemented yet putting together a receipt scanner, which is certainly in the lineup of things that we will build into our membership. Another one that Aaron brought up right before the call was, we should have a depreciation tracker, because it's another one of those things where if a carrier wanted to make it really easy on a homeowner to get their depreciation back, or a mortgage wanted to make it really easy on a homeowner to get their draw, like it shouldn't be that hard. Like take a picture of the repairs, take a picture of the invoice, get AI now to link those repairs to the estimate that's already been submitted. And there we go.
That's kind of our blueprint for everything we build, Cameron. What would the insurance company build if they were building insurance for people?
It's true. That's our new tagline, Rachel.
The that's solid.
But I mean, it's the same thing we
Gosh.
thought. People have asked us recently about our inventory tool, and they're like, well, is it proprietary? And it's like, well, it's unique. No one else has one quite like it. But an insurance company could build one, I mean, faster than we built one. They have the money and the resources. If they wanted to make that easy on homeowners, they could build it tomorrow, right? Like it could literally be built and launched in 2 days, and they could have it. And the fact that they don't actually says, I've written about this before, but like the problems that insurance companies choose not to solve says a lot about the incentives that are at play, right? When they don't solve the inefficiencies, when they don't make certain things easier on homeowners. And I think depreciation ends up falling into those. It's like, it's not that complex of a process to make easy for homeowners at this stage with all the tools we have. So let's make it easy for people. Let's figure it out right now. Rachel, if we're going to build a depreciation tracker for Tugboat, what does it need to be able to do?
And Emily and Sarah, if you have dream tools that you'd like to see in your depreciation tracker, let us know.
Yeah.
I think it would have to, first of all, be able to read the report, like import the report from the insurance company, right? It has to be like, if it's exact contents, the payment tracker, it's got to be able to directly import that. And I don't know, guys. Like I don't.
So let's think about it on category first. Let's think about the contents one, right? So what happens, I'm trying to think of these total loss ones. So say your house goes, and let's focus on the kids category of stuff that would come up. Here you have kids clothes, kids toys, kids books. All of these are things that you're not going to go back and purchase the same exact things, because by the time you rebuild your house, you need new kids clothes. They don't play with the same toys anymore. And they're not reading the same books. And so it becomes this challenge. Like if when your TV burns, you're going to buy another TV, right? Yeah. Like that's what you're going to end up doing. But when a kid's toy burns, maybe you're not going to buy a toy again. Maybe you're going to buy a poster. Like, who knows what it might be. And so I've told people before, like, you kind of have to get creative at times as to what is matching up to what thing, because it's not like you're saying, well, here's the $25 I got for this toy. I'm going to take it to Target right now and go buy something and submit this receipt. No, you got a check from your insurance company for $30,000, and now you're going to go start replacing things in your house. And so what I think would be really helpful is that you could scan a receipt, and after having uploaded the exact content sheet or having access ideally to Tugboat's, you've already put your inventory through there, and you just upload a receipt, and then it goes and links to any item that could be relevantly tied to, right? If pants were, and does it intelligently too, so that it links it to an item that is comparably priced, but not priced higher or lower.
Right. Yeah. I mean, but look, there are some policies that even say like it's the functional, like as far as contents goes, like they don't expect you to go buy a 6-month-old onesie for your 2-year-old child. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. It's functional use. So as long as it functions, it serves the same purpose.
But even that's so wild.
I've had adjusters say that you had to buy the same thing. I've had to have this argument of saying, where they're like saying you have to buy. I was like, no, you don't have to buy pants. Like I could buy like any clothes. I could buy whatever clothes I want. Don't be unreasonable. No, you have to buy pants. Like have to buy, and which is like all this like makes me cringe just like thinking, but it's been said before.
Like, yeah, why are people having these conversations after they've had a loss, and like you're just like piling us on? Yeah, it's absolute madness.
These guys though, they're taking like groupings, like men's clothes, $15,000. So the fact that they say you have to buy the exact same thing, that goes against like the state guidelines.
But
replacement.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, for after wildfire, you're getting category money back.
So
you're not paying the total limits. I'm thinking of people that actually have a list.
Yeah,
right.
But
because a lot of times, I mean, most fires that happen that there are plenty of fire losses that aren't wildfires. There are plenty of losses that aren't fire that are still catastrophic, like a flood or whatever else it might be, where people are still required to make a list. Let's see, a couple people. Sarah said, that's really helpful. Thank you. Using the adjuster's payment worksheet and the line items numbers to organize the receipts. Emily says, our insurance company used a third-party vendor and literally applied 50% depreciation to everything, from clothes to a 1-month-old TV and sheets. And then she says to the tools we're talking about, that'd be amazing instead of searching through hundreds of line items. Aaron, you're closer to the tech that we're building. It seems like it'd be fairly realistic for us to have it intelligently linked.
Yeah, it's totally doable. We just have to build it. This is good.
I think that'd be super, especially. So Emily, stay on top of this for this, because you and everyone else in these wildfires.
Yeah, I was like, as you're talking through it, I'm like, do we want to give them like serve up like all the nearest matches, and then they can just pick one in case they are like, oh no, I have something else in mind to match up with that
exactly, because you want to be smart about it, right? You don't want to. What I was thinking is like, you don't want to go. Say you got paid $20 for a pair of shoes, and you repurchased say you had several different pairs of shoes that were damaged. One was 20, one was 40. And you went and bought a new pair for 60, you want to make sure that doesn't get linked to the $20 pair of shoes. You want to make sure it gets linked to the $40 pair of shoes, so that
or
you're getting the depreciation.
Whatever it is you're doing.
Or
then, the same ones. How do we separate? Even just getting back to this, to kind of what derailed me earlier. How do we separate? Like, let's just assume the can got kicked on negotiating the settlement price on some of these items. And now we're trying to simultaneously submit the proof that they were repurchased and negotiate for a higher settlement amount on those items. And I'm trying to think of the nuance of like how the app does that well, so that like, oh no, this more expensive pair of shoes does line up with that pair of shoes, and we need to justify increase on that pair of shoes.
Yeah. And it should, again, all these things should be fair.
It's doable.
Especially because we already have the content tool, right? We already have the image recognition and some intelligence around that.
And the content tool is only getting better. We keep improving it. So,
that's helpful. So a depreciation tracker. Emily, something that'd be helpful to you, Sarah, if you're still on, and anybody else watching as well. We're in the process of just upgrading our members' tools, especially like the wildfires have been really informative for things that would be helpful, not just for those with a catastrophic loss, but those with any loss that's complex or involves contents or all kinds of different issues that can come up. So if you have parts of the process of handling your own claim that are particularly complex or time consuming or overwhelming, confusing, certainly let us know. Like I said, a lot of those, I wouldn't say that they're confusing. It would be a little too honest and pessimistic of me to say that they're confusing by design, but let's say that they're confusing as a byproduct of poor incentives. So a lot of them, I think, may have simple solutions that we can come up with. Right, Rachel? Like so much of what you're doing with claim support, you're not telling people to do complex things oftentimes. Right? No, it's like, this is a simple thing. Ask this basic question in this way. That'll be fun. I love coming up with new tools that hopefully.
Yeah, that'll be a good one. And then we've been like delaying on doing the receipt scanner for a while now, so those can live together pretty nicely.
Yeah.
I wonder if in the tool, in the depreciation tracker, if we could get like, if the receipt is provided, like a picture of what it was compared to what it is, like to prove. And then anything that is an increase can be exported as a PDF as a, hey, here is justification for, the increase. This is what it costs. these are the same pair of shoes, as you can see. Like that might be helpful because that's one thing I tell people to do. Like if you've got, of course I tell them to do it up front, anything unique or extraordinary, go ahead and make a list of it and then create a picture, grab a screenshot, do whatever, a picture in your house to prove it existed before, or some kind of a website to support the cost now. But maybe something like that.
I think that'll be, because we can use the same kind of sorting system to associate the receipt with the line item. And a single receipt, same as with our home inventory tool. Like you don't have to take a picture of every single thing, right? One photo, it identifies all the stuff and associates that photo with the relevant line items. The receipt can do the same thing. So that could work really good. Let's build that.
All right.
Sarah made another note.
She says, what we found is they aren't reimbursing exact amounts I was expecting. So we're having to go item by item and cross-reference the insurance worksheet and our expense reports to figure out what wasn't approved, and we have to follow up on. This is what we're talking about. This is what we're trying to solve for, Sarah. And this idea for what it would be is that it would intelligently, properly link those things for you in the way that is most accurate and therefore most beneficial to you.
But this is an interesting, I wasn't considering this, that you're cross-linking the insurance company's payments with those line items in the same way that you'd be cross-linking your expenses with those line items. It could all just work both ways. Yeah. Very cool.
Yeah.
So,
Sarah, are they paying more or are they paying less than what you're expecting?
What do you think, Rachel?
Rachel, why would she be going back?
I'm saying I think she is insured by the same person by who I used to work for that does have the actual replacement cost.
Yeah.
So
yeah, Emily, any ideas for how we could intelligently do the depreciation? Because that is a challenge. Like, I don't know, like without someone manually saying this thing's younger, like,
I mean, some things, this is also, there's somewhat of a strategic thing, Emily, too, because there are times where it may benefit you to negotiate a flat depreciation across items, maybe less and less with what we're building. Because before we used to do that as essentially a headache saver for homeowners and be like, look, if you don't want to go through and age everything, I can try and negotiate a flat 30%. Right, or 20%. Do you think that's reasonable? And then we would go back to the insurance company as the public adjuster, like you were saying earlier. I think you said they were depreciating a flat 50% across your stuff, which feels absurd. But you're well within your rights to go back and be like, this doesn't seem reasonable. How did you come to that number? You know, can we and you can give them some like strategic options. Be like, you know, can we sit on the phone for a few hours and go through this item by item so I can explain to you why I think each item is not that heavily or should not be that heavily depreciated? Or are you up for maybe lowering it from 50% to 30%? Would that be unreasonable to you? And like things like that can work.
And you can look in, again, the strategy here would be to look at it and see.
Is this you calling me right now?
No.
Oh, it says State Farm.
Oh,
they don't like what we're saying. They're watching the screen.
They're calling.
Golly.
But it can be really strategic depending on the items and what's being depreciated. Like sometimes, like you can look and you're like, I'm okay with this being over depreciated if the whole thing gets brought down and this gets depreciated less. And so, yeah, you can. Like if it works one way, it can work for you as well to do those blanket depreciations. It shouldn't always just save the carrier money.
I liked when I was working, I would have people bring these arguments to me, like why, like Emily's TV, literally it was 1 month old, and I might not be able to do a whole lot with that because I would put in a 1 month. But I would go to the internet sometimes and go, okay, what's the lifespan of a TV? What's the lifespan of, I did a lawnmower one time. The lifespan of those things they don't align with how Xactimate assigns the lifespan. Like it's not realistic. Like, so you're telling me after 3 years, your lawnmower is just done, kaput? We should all just get rid of them? They're disposable?
Yeah.
But that's what they
we've seen them depreciate like chains. Like people will have
yes,
like chains, and it's like, yeah, how old are these chains? Oh, I've had them for 40 years. All right, here we go. And
yeah.
just like not pay for them. It's like, what is going on?
Chains, hardware, or yeah.
I've changed a lot of those things. I had a prepper. I don't know if I've told y'all, I had a prepper one time whose house burned down, and it was 6,000 individual entries, and they were like red beads for creating lures, peach beads for creating lures, a 6-pound hook, 3-pound hook, 12-pound hook, 2-pound, like all these. It's like I cried every time I got into it because it was so awful. It was so awful. And
what if you had a tool, Rachel? So it wasn't awful.
And it makes me mad now at State Farm because they could have built a tool. Like you said, they could have built that tool.
Yeah.
I didn't have to do that. But so I verified everything, but the guy also had chains. And like, this really got on my nerves. And I know it's the way the policy is written, but a bucket of screws, right? That's not really personal property. According to some people, that is really, it's part of the dwelling.
If they're wood screws.
Yeah, it's building.
But if they're bolts,
right,
it's personal property.
Right. I mean, it's crazy how
that's some shenanigans.
Yeah, that was, if I'm not mistaken, that was in the estimating guidelines. Like I can't remember what they're called, but yeah, like it's
estimating guidelines don't exist, Rachel.
Yeah,
that's why State Farm is calling. They were saying, don't let her say that thing about estimating guidelines.
Get her off the phone.
But I'll gosh, it's a great policy. Oh, speaking of depreciation, a really weird thing, like the Florida thing, right? So they don't withhold depreciation, but guess how long you can recover depreciation in Virginia?
I'm not going to guess. Just tell me the answer.
You'll never guess. So it's good. So you've got, I make sure I say this correctly. Basically in perpetuity, as long as the last time you recovered, it has to be within 6 months of the last time you recovered depreciation. So if it is the most bizarre business I've ever
That is weird.
They want you to continually be working on it, essentially.
Yeah.
Rather
if it's 7 years, fine.
It's like some of it makes sense to me because, again, these wildfire losses or catastrophic loss, especially in a disaster, is very easily a 5-year project to recover from.
100%.
Very, very easily.
I agree.
So, and for some people, it's a 1-year project, right? They sold the property, they got out, they moved, they replaced everything, put it behind them, right? Yeah. Then they're done. But for plenty of people, it's a 5-year project, and giving them the way to be able to recover from that. This is great. I can't wait to build those next things. I mean, they're in the list. We have other things that we're currently building.
The next things, but this one piggybacks off the thing that we're building right now, so it might be an easy add.
Yeah, and I don't think it'll be the biggest challenge. Awesome. Well, let's finish up there. It's almost 4:00. Aaron, you and I have to be on a call in 4 minutes, 6 minutes. That's bad math. In 6 minutes. And I guess I'll say this. Especially if you're already a Tugboat user, and I'll try and post this part later. If you're already a Tugboat user and you're using our claim support tools and you've dabbled with our inventory tool, we would love to get feedback from you, not just on how those tools are working, but where you are having other frustrations and problems with your claim that you feel like we may be able to build something that would help you make it more efficient and easier for you to walk through, right? So everything we talked about today was ideas around how we could help you through depreciation recovery and for contents and on the building. But that is really similarly tied to expense tracking for ALE, which is something we're looking at. There may be other issues around ALE that you're interested in us having to help you solve. There may be other budgeting things, other things with helping to manage stuff with the contractor. Because claims are really complex and just this vast set of problems, it's easy for us to maybe miss what would be the most helpful thing to you, because there's so many things for us to be working on. So if something, Emily, Sarah, anybody else, people that are watching this, if there's something that you have been thinking about, like, oh, if it only did this, if I could only have help with this part of the process, this would be huge. Let us know, because we'd love to build that for you. And it doesn't just help you. If you have a wildfire claim and you're having trouble with something, there are thousands of other people having that same problem. Right. There are very few unique problems when it comes to these. So anyways, appreciate you all. Rachel, I appreciate you. And I will send this voicemail from State Farm straight to your phone. You can take care of that for me, if you don't mind.
Gladly.
And we'll talk to everybody later. Appreciate everyone.
Bye.
Thanks.